hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, and today I want to be giving you guys a discussion about whether or not Deepa has already, in the very short period in time that he's been in Boruto, Naruto Next Generation's anime, whether or not Deepa is already a better villain than Urashiki. And I think that we need to have this conversation because when Deepa first showed up, a lot of people were saying, oh my god, he's gonna be Urashiki Part 2. A lot of people said that, and I completely understand the fear in it, right? Like, I completely understand the fear. Like, people were legit terrified that, okay, this is gonna be another Urashiki situation where the guy's gonna show up and have a lot of potential and not amount to much of anything special. But then the Boruto episode from a couple of weeks ago happened, and all of a sudden Deepa got over with the fans. Like, to borrow a wrestling term, Deepa got over with fans because he caught a bunch of heat. Like, we saw the very slow build up to it where the guy's just lurking in the shadows. He's mercilessly killing people at bars. He's killing people inside of the castle. He's hunting down the members of Team 7. First he goes after the ninja from the Hayes village, and then he's going after Amoe and the others. Might have a little backwards, but whatever. But the fact is that when he gets after Amoe, he takes out Amoe's team. So he's taking out Joni and Calba characters like it's absolutely nothing. But then we see the battle with Amoe and Deepa, and we see how Amoe, somebody who is a Raikage candidate and also somebody who is not necessarily a weakling in himself, because we know that he swapped swords with the ninja from the Hidden Mist Village's 7 legendary swordsmen of the mist, and in particular kept up with Amayuri Ringo, who's one of the more deadlier members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. So the fact that he was doing something like that kind of just shows you that this is one of those situations where Deepa wasn't necessarily a pushover, and Amoe himself barely managed to walk out of that fight alive, and that was more so because Deepa decided, I'm gonna let you live, which, I mean, it's a bit of a contradiction. I'll be getting that in a moment. But when he finally takes on the members of Team 7, I mean, he just dominates them. Like, it's not even close. Like, he just dominates them. Like, Sarada, you see her, Sharingan's all bleeding. The girl is just pushing herself to different limits, and Deepa's just toying around with her. And then when you get to Mitsuki, and Mitsuki's firing off those attacks like before, Deepa's just kind of standing there tanking attacks with Mitsuki. You know, we see that he's, you know, being forced to move around quite a bit in order to dodge Mitsuki's attacks, whereas with everybody else, he stood there. And then once he takes out Mitsuki, that's when you see, okay, Sarada's down for the count. He's tanking Boruto's attacks. He's trolling Boruto. He's finger flicking Boruto, knocking him damn near unconscious when he does so. Deepa's doing a lot of trash talk. Deepa is just generating a lot of heat. There's a true sense of helplessness, which is absolutely crazy that they're able to establish something like this, because you have to remember this right here. And I'm not gonna get in that bullshit argument that people make like, oh, this is the main character, you can't harm the main character. Now, see, that's not true. You know, these new generation of shonen, they're too scared to kill off the main characters or put the main characters in that situation where you think they might actually die. But when it comes to OG shonen, I mean, main characters died before, but I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But the fact is that, you know, when you really just sit there and look, the fact is we know that there's a flash forward sequence. Boruto makes it out of this alive, and yet Deepa for a moment makes you wonder, how the hell does Boruto get out of this? So that in itself is great writing right there. It's great writing for a character. However, even though all that takes place, I would be disingenuous if I didn't say I'm already seeing some inconsistencies with Deepa's character that absolutely trouble me. So the very first thing is when this guy shows up, he's built up, it's like, oh yeah, I lurk in the shadows, and anybody who sees my face, if anybody sees me, they don't see it a second time. And then he proceeds to just knock around Amoe and everybody else, and then he looks over at Amoe and says, I'm gonna let you live. Wait, what? You just said that you weren't gonna let nobody stay alive if they saw your face. What the fuck is going on here? Like, that's one of those times where I just look at it and I say, yo, This man's bugging like a motherfucker right here. But then, taking it a step further, I also see a characteristic in Deepa that is very Urashiki-like, which is Deepa has a tendency to play around with people that he knows he's more powerful than. The way that Urashiki fought against Sasuke and the way that Urashiki fought against Gar is a lot different than the way that he did once he was presented with Boruto. He toyed around with Boruto, and when Boruto was able to take advantage of the fact that his guard is lowered and he's not taking me seriously, Boruto was able to catch Urashiki off guard. Using the Jogan power-up, he was able to break one of Urashiki's horns. But every time he fought somebody that was a danger, he either eliminated them right away, as shown when Mitsuki goes into Sage mode and Urashiki says, nah, that's too troublesome, I can't let you use it. He takes away that ability. When he gets to other people that, like, say Tamari, that are higher level fighters, he doesn't toy around with them. He starts fighting them and he waits for that opportunity to take their chakra. Whereas with Boruto, he toyed around with them, and ultimately, because he's toying around with Boruto and he's toying around with Naruto and he's toying around with Jiraiya, he gets in a situation where all of a sudden he puts himself in a place where Jiraiya is able to lay a trap that ends up bringing him down because of all the damage that are done to his internal organs. So I say that to say, with Deepa, I see moments where Deepa's very, very, very confident in himself. He's almost to a point where he's arrogant, and that's why Deepa and Victor make such a good pairing, because Victor understands, like, yeah, we might be stronger than these guys, but we can't toy around with them. Like the moment that Konohamaru got ready to launch that surprise attack and was using, I believe that was a lightning changing chakra nature attack he was getting ready to use, that's when all of a sudden you had this moment where Victor just sprouted up extra arms using that high speed regeneration jutsu that he has, and he's like, yo, I ain't playing around with you guys no more. And when you see it, I mean, he understands that Mujino's hurt, but he was slowly escalating the amount of power he was putting out. So that lets me know right there that, you know, Victor's obviously the more experienced one, whereas when you look at Deepa, Deepa is the one that is more likely to let his guard down. And given the fact that he has a power that makes him damn near untouchable, that makes me more worried that essentially he's gonna get outsmarted. And because he gets outsmarted, he's gonna put himself in a position when he loses control. When he loses control, he's gonna be in a situation where he can be brought down. I think they're already setting the seeds for that. I think they're already setting the seeds. I think we're all in agreement that when it comes to Deepa, it would make more sense if somebody of a Jonin or a Kage level took down this person. But I warned you guys when I looked at the opening, I said, wait a second, I think they're doing an anime only card inner member because of the anime opening, Boruto opening 7. I was like, there's an extra card member there. And sure enough, Deepa is one of the inners. He's got the cloak that the inners wear. His silhouette was shown when they gathered. That lets me know right there, like, okay, hold on a second. I think they're gonna make him the weakest member of the inners. I think that they're gonna give him some type of a nerf, and sure enough, that's his nerf. He's got an overpowered ability. He's been enhanced like all the other members, but his arrogance is ultimately gonna be his downfall. And I think that that's gonna be something that's highlighted. But that kind of brings me to this next point here, which is a very simple one, which is, despite all of that, I think that they also have a way to rectify this. I think that there's a way you can build up Deepa and continue to generate heat for him to where it doesn't ruin the character. Because I think right now where the Boruto series is, Boruto's at a place where it needs a good villain. Like the manga has one. Like the character who's currently the villain for the series in the manga, there are hella flaws, but the guy's able to generate heat. And that's the sign of a good villain there. You don't have to have some super deep philosophical messaging and meanings and purposes, and you don't need all those big brain moments. Like you don't need all that right there. Like, sometimes a character that just generates heat qualifies as a good villain. When he's able to get a reaction out of so many people in a way that we've not seen a reaction for almost 2 years, that lets you know they're doing something right. However, I want to know from you guys, do you guys think that they've done enough with Deepa? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.